Texas Governor Greg Abbott is in a pretty difficult spot right now politically. So we already know from last week that Republicans in Texas are looking at the recent national election results and saying, maybe that gerrymandering map that we wrote was a little bit ambitious. Maybe some of the voter trends aren't what we thought they were last year, and we could end up actually losing seats as a result of that. Stay tuned for that. That would be one of the best things that could possibly happen in 2026. But also, he wants to run for re-election for a fourth term, and his approval rating isn't looking that great right now. In the 10 years that he's been in office, Abbott has only hit 50% disapproval twice. So once was during COVID, when everybody was in a pretty bad mood, admittedly. And the second time is actually now. At his record highest disapproval, that's when he's launching his re-election bid for that fourth term. And he's choosing some policies to focus on that might be popular among some Texas Republicans. I don't know about most Texas people though. So he was doing this event in Houston just yesterday. He said voters should have the power to decide whether to eliminate property taxes that fund public schools. He also proposed that any future tax rises should be subject to the approval of 2/3 of voters, basically trying to make it impossible for taxes to ever go up ever again. He also proposed that voters roll back property tax rates through referendums. So basically just entirely end it. So he can't like directly do this stuff. You'd have to have a constitutional amendment in the state. That would require 100 votes in the Texas House, 21 in the state Senate. Both of those would require, even though Republicans are in control, that would require Democrats to sign on. And obviously the Democrats would never do that. Or I don't know, 8 just did vote to end the shutdown nationally, so maybe Texas Democrats would do that. That remains to be seen. But this is an interesting set of issues to campaign on, effectively saying we will never raise more money, nothing will ever be funded, the government will wither and die. Oh, and also public schools will be even more boned than they already are in Texas, because we're now gonna actually remove the property tax that goes to it. All of this, JR, seems like a continuance of their plot over years and years to kill public schools, put all that money directly into charter schools. And that's what he's choosing to run on when he's at his peak disapproval. It's an interesting strategy. What do you think?
I think that was in combination for trying to gerrymander, do all these different things, to think that they can just, I guess recreate this new reality of folks voting for him and suppressing other folks' votes. They have a lot of angles that they have to make sure that these horrific policies that, let's keep it real, most folks in the Republican Party, they have an audience of one in Donald Trump and trying to please him. So that I gotta go on with Donald Trump style politics, more destruction, more hate, more direct opposition to half of, in this case, the state, and probably even more, and also the country. He's running on this and then hoping they can find a way to manipulate the system enough that he can win anyway, and then claim, I've got this mandate of doing everything that I want to do. And obviously the people of Texas don't want schools. Of course they would. That's what we heard when we were talking to them. None of these policies are any kind of way good. That's why, again, I guess I'm willing to almost bet before the week's up or as his campaign rolls on, he's gonna say those polls are fake. It's the left-wing media that keeps saying he's at a 50% disapproval rating and probably above 50% at this point. It's all just supposed to be this manipulated event. And he sucks, but then apparently everyone loves that he sucks. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, look, I don't know why any Republican would ever admit that the polls are true. Republican voters seem to love being told against all evidence that the polls are fake. How did that work out, by the way, in the elections that happened just a week ago? But he should definitely do that. Yeah, Greg Abbott, never learn any lessons, by the way. Keep doubling down on unpopular positions. Keep doing that. It's gonna be a very difficult task for Texas to ever flip blue. But for that to happen, they're making some of the moves that at least give us a shot at least. Maybe the congressional delegation at some point, we'll see. It's still gonna be difficult, they have a stranglehold. And by the way, you'll notice that what he's trying to do is lock in those wins. He's not interested in like cutting taxes right now, and then if Texas becomes blue, then they can just rise it. He wants to change the Constitution to make sure that even if Texas were to flip blue, it could never go up again. This is being pitched as like a strength move. It's not, and it's an admission that they don't think that they're gonna have control forever, and they're trying to make sure that even when they lose, they continue to win. It's pathetic.